My name is Sikh Khalsa. I'm 22 years old and I'm a performing artist.
A lioness is a lioness, not a kitten. And my mane will remain my hair.
Sukhjit is a Gen Y Sikh creative who performs with words.
Rocking up for my first job at Coles was like a scene on Border Patrol.
Breaking through misconceptions held by wider Australia, Sukhjit shows the world why authentic representation of Sikh youth in the West is crucial.
I always felt like watching TV as a kid, I would be like, where am I? Or reading a play in high school, going, where am I? Where is my story? Where is a Sikh woman diaspora? There isn't any unless we start actually getting out there and making it mainstream.
Sukhdeep Singh, better known as rapper El Fresh the Lion, says one of the biggest misconceptions of Gen Y Sikhs in the West is that they stick to traditional roles.
Seeing a self-determining brown man or brown person is uncomfortable for a lot of people in this country. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the country that we live in, and we're just the West in general, I suppose. So, there's definitely the need to kind of not resist that box, but I try to think of how I can use it, how I can play with it to my advantage.
Visual artist Bunnypreet Kaur's family is heavily invested in art. Bunnypreet's artistic identity is influenced by her religious identity, and she says the greatest freedom in being a Gen Y creative has come through by the support and interest of her parents and the Sikh community.
I think within our community, if we just have a little bit less dogma and a bit more kindness in our community, I think there are a lot of kids out there who have the potential and have the courage, like they can build the courage to do what they want to do, whether they want to be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or an artist or a rapper or a poetess or like anything they want to do. So I think it just comes down to accepting our community and our diverse community, and then by default there'll be authentic representations within media. Our gurus were creative people, our gurus were artists, and they were revolutionary in what they did, in how they helped society, in what they pondered on and what they contemplated on in their travels, in the wars, in so many things, that we have to remember the behaviors of them and we have to behave like them.
We are parents of Gen Y, I would say, and when we migrated with lots of other families, we all came here for a better future, and it was always the belief that better future is with maths and science subjects and being on highly paid jobs, and if these jobs are also like highly paid, I think more kids will be, the profession will be more respected in the community, and parents and kids, they will be encouraged to study these subjects.
UTS Professor of Indigenous Studies and Human Rights, Nina Burridge, says the lack of representation of Sikhs in the media and creative fields is a large factor as to why there is a lack of understanding of the religious and cultural differences between minority groups.
Sikhs are also associated with what I mentioned was this fear of Middle Eastern communities. It's a lack of understanding of the differences.
The most common misconception about the Gen Y Sikhs in Australia is that, with the turban, they are considered as Muslims, which is very offensive to us, because Muslims and like Islam and Sikhism are two different religions. Well, when I see these people like pronoun personalities like El Fresh the Lion and Sukhjit Kaur, like we feel like, to be honest, I feel really proud to saying them, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, people like youth, all the Sikhs in Australia should, see them as an icon. It just gives a clear idea to all the youth that Sikhs can do that. They can get into creative jobs. They can get into this creative industry of acting and singing and rapping. And yeah, it's a really good motivation, good inspiration to all the youth of Australian Sikhs.
My people never big on the knees. We would never die for the cheese. We would rather break the trap and never fake the rap to the day that I'm gone.
Raveena Grover, That's Why.